What do you do in the morning? I eat breakfast. Where do you work? I work in an office. How do you go to school? I walk to school. What does he do every day? He reads a book. Where does she live? She lives in a city. Where does she live? She lives in a city. What do you drink? I drink water. What do you drink? I drink water. When do you sleep? I sleep at night. When do you sleep? I sleep at night. How do you cook? I use a stove. How do you cook? I use a stove. What do you write with? I write with a pen. What do you write with? I write with a pen. Where do they play? They play in the park. Where do they play? They play in the park. What does she watch on TV? She watches movies. What does she watch on TV? She watches movies. What do you buy at the store? I buy food and fruit. What do you buy at the store? I buy food and fruit. How do you learn English? I learn with books. How do you learn English? I learn with books. What do you wear in winter? I wear a coat. What do you wear in winter? I wear a coat. Where do you swim? I swim in the pool. Where do you swim? I swim in the pool. What do you make for lunch? I make a sandwich. What do you make for lunch? I make a sandwich. Who do you call? I call my brother. Who do you call? I call my brother. What does he drive? He drives a car. What does he drive? He drives a car. Where do you read books? I read books at home. Where do you read books? I read books at home. What do you see in the sky? I see stars. What do you see in the sky? I see stars. How do you clean your room? I use a vacuum. How do you clean your room? I use a vacuum. Where do you visit your family? I visit them at their house. Where do you visit your family? I visit them at their house. What do you paint? I paint pictures. What do you paint? I paint pictures. How do you send a letter? I use the mail. How do you send a letter? I use the mail. What do you plant in the garden? I plant flowers. What do you plant in the garden? I plant flowers. Where do you take a shower? I take a shower in the bathroom. Where do you take a shower? I take a shower in the bathroom. What do you bake in the oven? I bake cookies. What do you bake in the oven? I bake cookies. Who do you help at home? I help my mother. Who do you help at home? I help my mother. What does she draw? She draws animals. What does she draw? She draws animals. Where do you exercise? I exercise at the gym. Where do you exercise? I exercise at the gym. What do you find at the beach? I find shells. What do you find at the beach? I find shells. How do you fix the car? I use tools. How do you fix the car? I use tools. What do you listen to? I listen to music. What do you listen to? I listen to music. Where do you meet friends? I meet friends at the cafe. Where do you meet friends? I meet friends at the cafe. What do you open with a key? I open the door. What do you open with a key? I open the door. How do you carry books? I use a bag. How do you carry books? I use a bag. What do you teach? I teach math. What do you teach? I teach math. Where do you dance? I dance at parties. Where do you dance? I dance at parties. What do you catch at the lake? I catch fish. What do you catch at the lake? I catch fish. How do you travel? I travel by bus. How do you travel? I travel by bus. What do you draw with? I draw with a pencil. What do you draw with? I draw with a pencil. Where do you sit? I sit on a chair. Where do you sit? I sit on a chair. What do you cook for dinner? I cook pasta. What do you cook for dinner? I cook pasta. Who do you talk to? I talk to my brother. Who do you talk to? I talk to my brother. What do you watch in the theater? I watch a play. What do you watch in the theater? I watch a play. How do you make a call? I use my phone. How do you make a call? I use my phone. Where do you put your clothes? I put them in the closet. Where do you put your clothes? I put them in the closet. What do you use to cut paper? I use scissors. What do you use to cut paper? I use scissors. Where do you sleep? I sleep in my bed. Where do you sleep? I sleep in my bed. What do you take to school? I take my backpack. What do you take to school? I take my backpack. What do you eat for lunch? I eat a sandwich. What do you eat for lunch? I eat a sandwich. How do you turn on the light? I use a switch. How do you turn on the light? I use a switch. I would like to thank you for watching my video and supporting me, no matter how small, through ABBA 564,129,888, and I hope you watch and watch, read and you will know more.